Tonight, works continue on a number of roads across the Mid-North in a bid to improve road safety. And Whyalla Police receiving a helping hand from a four-legged friend.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. Works are continuing to improve road safety for motorists across the Mid-North. A new slip lane is being installed along Nelshaby Road after dozens of complaints that poor visibility was leading to terrifying near misses.
Perseverance is paying off.
It's been about five or 6 years of discussion around this intersection on how we can make it safer for vehicles.
Local residents have been campaigning for a slip lane at the junction of Oaks Road and Nelshaby Road for years.
If they'd have done it when we first asked for it, it would have been done and completed many years ago. But anyway, I'm very happy that we're getting it.
The delay comes after a previous decision by the Department of Transport and Infrastructure, which said a slip lane wasn't necessary.
They said that there was no fatalities here, so it didn't warrant a slip lane.
Local residents are hopeful the slip lane will reduce the amount of near misses.
From Nelshaby, they're coming over a hill, and there's also vegetation there, so it's a really restricted area.
Can't see them coming, and they're coming over there supposedly at 100. But in a lot of cases I feel that might be a bit more than 100 and they close up on you pretty quick.
Construction work on the busy intersection has begun, with the road being sealed today.
Napperby, travelling towards Port Pirie, will be able to turn left using the slip lane and then filter in onto Nelshaby Road. The road is due to be line marked in early May, so I would expect it to be open to the public in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill City Council has released a new completion date on works at the Civic Centre. The site has been closed since the middle of last year after hundreds of defects were found. Council says the repair works are expected to be complete in August, in time for the Civic Debutante Ball. The ball was meant to be held next month but had to be pushed back to accommodate the works. Businesses in Clare are fighting against the Commonwealth Bank's decision to close the town's branch. A petition is currently being circulated and has gained more than 50 signatures in less than 2 hours. The bank announced the branch would close down in mid-June due to declining interest. As police continue their hunt for a man believed responsible for a crime spree across the state, patrols have the help from a unit of the four-legged variety. Not only will the Pooch take part in this operation, Nero will also help with a number of other policing activities.
Meet Nero, the German Shepherd. While he's placid and friendly here, this dog's bite is worse than his bark.
I wouldn't want to challenge this dog in a foot race.
Nero is responsible for hunting down suspects who have evaded arrest by sniffing them out and alerting officers. He spent the last week in Whyalla on assignment, helping local patrols in a number of their investigations.
The police dog's been used by us in a number of other operations, so we're making full use of the dog.
His most important assignment was helping track down a wanted man on a crime spree across SA. He was last spotted driving into Whyalla on Monday night, dumping a stolen white Toyota Ute in Jamison Street. Despite the best efforts of Nero, police say he's still on the run and could be anywhere.
It's possible he's not in Whyalla at all, but we would say to anyone who sees someone matching that description to please give the police a call.
And as for Nero, he and his handler will continue to be on the beat, hunting down criminals in places people can't reach.
So he's ideal in situations where you're searching for people in built-up areas or in scrubland.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The Port Pirie Golf Club is still looking to secure freehold rights from the local council. The club says it's all in a bid to gain financial independence in order to provide a better service to members. Rachel Nell has more.
For the past 8 years, club management's been lobbying council in a bid to secure a freehold title of the clubhouse. It's all in a bid to be independent from Port Pirie Regional Council in order to operate more freely. It says it's forced to request a loan from council to be able to complete minor renovations. Instead, if it owned the clubhouse, it would be able to arrange for smaller loans from the club's own funds without having to seek approval first. Management is keen on getting a range of projects currently in the pipeline, including upgrades to the Greens shed, and it says operating independently would allow. but council has requested more details about the club's plans into the future.
We're asking basically that they look at a long-term 10-year plan to look at how they want to upgrade their facilities.
Council will be looking through all of the potential options to get the best result for the community.
Whether freehold's the best option or whether we stay with a leasing arrangement, we just want to get some very sound figures around what they want to do in the future.
The golf club feels council's decision's been clouded by continuous links to its potential amalgamation with the BH club. It says both parties would be better off with a freehold basis to start with and are happy to have ongoing discussions to reach a positive outcome.
In the news ahead, we meet a 10-year-old local boy recognised for his bravery by helping his mother from a burning microwave. That's next. Rowan Ramsey will welcome the Clare Valley into the seat of Grey if a proposed redistribution goes ahead. The Electoral Commission has released its draft plans, which will see SA lose a federal seat due to a low population growth. Grey will also take in Port Wakefield, with its border stretching as far south as Gawler. Clare was originally part of Grey between 1993 and 2004 before being moved into Wakefield. Labor's Nick Champion has represented the Clare Valley region since the 2007 election. Whyalla Council will be forced to select a new deputy mayor at this Monday's meeting after the sudden resignation of Jenny Barnes. Ms Barnes is taking up a job within Whyalla Council, making her ineligible to sit as an elected member. She was elected to council at the last election in 2014 and has been deputy since November 2017.
We're not losing contact with her, she'll be working with us. So I'll just say good luck to her and thank you, because she was a very good councillor.
Council won't hold a by-election for her seat as her departure falls close enough to a general election, which will be held in November. The Upper Spencer Gulf cities will send a delegation to Adelaide to meet with new Liberal ministers on issues relating to the region. It's also invited new Premier Stephen Marshall to come and see the work being done to revitalise the old Iron Triangle.
With a new man in charge, attention is now turning to how the Upper Spencer Gulf gets the new government invested in the area. The group of mayors decided at its last meeting to visit Adelaide to start building relationships with new ministers.
So we have to re-establish those relationships with the new ministers, but I feel quite confident we'll be able to do that. We're a very important part of the state.
Port Augusta Mayor Sam Johnson has backed the idea, saying the new government should be a partner in the region's rebuild.
Make sure that we encompass the relevant government bodies to share in some of the successes, and it's fair to say that the Upper Spencer Gulf in the last 12 months really has had some good wins.
And they've extended an invite to Stephen Marshall to visit the region.
The Premier has already reached out and made that first contact as well. So I think we are in a good position.
After a dark few years, Whyalla, Port Augusta and Port Pirie are starting to re-establish themselves economically. But government support is still needed, and having a strong relationship is critical. Mayor Brewer says having a member of the cabinet from our region in Dan Van Holst Pelican is a great start.
He'll be great for us also, and very supportive and understands what we're doing and how important it is.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
The quick actions of a Port Augusta boy to save his mother have seen him recognised by the Metropolitan Fire Service. The 10-year-old called 000 after the family's microwave caught alight, injuring his mother.
A certificate of appreciation for a boy who went above and beyond to save his mum. Jamie Santo received the praise after his quick actions helped save his mum from serious injuries. Members of the Fireys treating him to a special trip.
They were proud of me. And they said I was allowed to sit in the fire truck.
Though the scenes were much more subdued than a few days ago, when his mother, Bree, had her face set alight after her microwave exploded.
I yelled out for help, that it was burning.
Her screams for help sent 10-year-old Jamie into action, who calmly told her to run the shower while he called 000.
She told me she was burning, so I said get in the shower, and she said I was really hurting.
Bree's just thankful this incident didn't seriously injure her or anyone in her family. And she says this incident serves as a timely reminder as to the importance of educating children what to do in life-threatening situations.
You know, I thought they'd run and cry, and he did a really brave thing.
Though the pain of her injuries is masked by a glow of proudness for her son and his calm actions.
Not only where to go or meet in the yard, but to how to talk to someone on the phone. Like, it should be important no matter what age.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
After the break, how the West Augusta Footy Club is preparing for the upcoming season. That story next. The Broken Hill Tennis Association is hoping it can secure funding for much-needed light upgrades on its first 6 courts. The association is applying for a state grant to assist in replacing the old fixtures with new LED lights. The 6 courts will also be resurfaced in the coming months thanks to funding received last year. Meantime, Broken Hill's Tidy Towns team is inviting locals to donate a bit of their time for a good cause this weekend. The volunteer group cleans parts of the city throughout the year, and this weekend it'll start one of 4 clean-ups at the local cemetery.
Everybody in Broken Hill would have some loved one in this cemetery, and they treat it usually with the greatest of respect. And this is one way where they can just do that little bit extra.
Volunteers need only bring water, a hat and some sturdy shoes. The clean-up starts at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Well, applying for a grant can be an arduous process for anyone or any group looking to get some vital funding. The Broken Hill Chamber of Commerce is looking to change that, though, by running a workshop to lend a helping hand this weekend.
Federal, state and local government funding is often a huge help for local communities.
They can come down, talk to the experts and get some help and actually do some practical writing while they're here.
The Resources for Regions funding program is still open and the Broken Hill Chamber of Commerce is doing its best to get more submissions in. It says a number of applications can fall by the wayside because applicants can't complete the submission.
Some people were struggling with the concept of writing grants, so we went, well, if we run a workshop with all of the expertise, people can bring their grants in, their grant submissions, or if they even think they just have an idea.
Some groups have already reaped the benefits of state funding. Most recently, the North Broken Hill Bowls Club received almost $300,000 to resurface its tired greens.
Everyone that's going to be here has worked on grants or tenders or whatever and have lots of stuff about Broken Hill. So you don't have to go and reinvent the wheel about all of the facts and figures around Broken Hill, and we can give you that while they're here.
The grant writing workshop runs all day tomorrow and Sunday at the Broken Hill Chamber of Commerce. Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
To sport now, and the West Augusta Football Club is fine-tuning its squad ahead of its season opener next weekend. The club's new first-grade coach is aiming to bring some new energy and motivation to the team.
With the season kicking off in just over a week, Westie's training is in full swing. A new face in the coaching ranks has set the standards early.
Most of it's been about instilling what my football philosophy is and also my training practices, and also trying to just build a bit of the culture.
Mackenzie was previously involved with junior teams in the club. He says the youthful team have been receptive to his familiar coaching measures.
They're responding quite well because a lot of these lads, I started coaching probably about 10 years ago, and a few of these lads that I actually coached them back in the under-13s.
With a gruelling pre-season behind them, the players are eager to strap on the boots and put some points on the scoreboard.
A fair group of the boys have really put in and done the hard yards, and they're going to really reap the benefits come round 1.
Though with many other clubs in the league adopting a testing pre-Christmas training regime, he doesn't want his side to think all the hard work is done.
I'm sure everyone's done their homework and everyone's worked out over the pre-season, so I think everyone's a threat, so you just got to play each game and take it as it comes.
The leadership duo remain confident their side can put pressure on many teams throughout the competition.
I think we're moving in the right direction to put together four quarters of solid football and really push teams.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
And on that note, time now for this week's footy tips from Whyalla.
Round 1 of Whyalla Football gets underway this weekend. No games at Bennett Oval for a few weeks, so all matches at Memorial Oval. First up, a doubleheader. West Whyalla plays Central Whyalla in a rematch of the grand final. Both teams looking pretty good this year, and simply because they're reigning premiers, will stick with the Dragons. The other match at Memorial Oval that day will be North Whyalla and Rapina, the other finalists from last year. Expect big things from both of these clubs this year. Recruits coming in for both teams, and probably because it's just their training ground, I'll stick with the Magpies. And finally on Sunday, again at Memorial, it'll be the teams that didn't play finals last year, Roona Bay versus South. Hard to see how both these teams are going to go till we see them play, so in a random pick we'll go with the Tigers.
Stay with us. After the break, we'll have all the local weather details with Amy. And Amy, after a week of wild weather, what's in store for the golf this weekend?
Well, the weekend is finally upon us, Fraser. However, it's going to be a very wet and windy start to our days off around the region. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Temperatures crept up slightly around most centres today. A fine and sunny 29 in Port Augusta and Broken Hill. However, the winds picked up in Whyalla today, reaching a top of 28. Maximums elsewhere continue to sit in the mid-20s. Checking the satellite now, and a trough over the northwest will cause showers and storms. Cloudy skies and showers also in the southeast. However, a high pressure system will keep skies clear in the west. Take care if you're intending to spend time on the waters this weekend, with several warnings currently in place. There will be very strong westerly winds which will shift northwesterly between 25 and 33 knots. Seas will reach 3.5 metres and the sun will rise at 6:40. Unfortunately, it will be a wet start to the weekend across the Spencer Gulf tomorrow, which is going to keep temperatures fairly low. Showers and a top of 23 in Port Augusta and Broken Hill. A similar day ahead in Whyalla and Port Lincoln, with only a few degrees difference. Meanwhile, the winds will pick up in all other districts, with a lot of rain also expected. Looking ahead into early next week, and the rain will eventually clear in Port Lincoln, but the cloud is going to hang around on Tuesday, heading for a top of 22. Similar conditions in Cleve and Woodner, with cloudy skies and maximums sitting in the 20s. Good news in Whyalla, with rain clearing early next week and mostly sunny days predicted, with a top of 23 on Tuesday. Port Augusta will also fine up as we get through the weekend, with slightly warmer temperatures in the mid-20s. However, Kadina won't see much sun until we get into next week, with the wet and windy conditions over the weekend. Despite the rainy weather, temperatures will be quite mild in Port Pirie, reaching 25 next week. Clare will be getting used to the grey skies by Monday and Tuesday, with temperatures staying in the low 20s. Meanwhile, Broken Hill is set to continue its run of fine weather into next week, heading for a top of 25 on Monday before dropping slightly on Tuesday. So not quite the weekend weather we expected after a very hot start to the week, Fraser. However, the sun will reappear in most centres by early next week.
No doubt we'll all be looking forward to some sunshine by then. Thanks, Amy. And that's Southern Cross News tonight. Thanks for your company. Enjoy your weekend. Good night.